finally, I'm very excited to get to announce this finally. Nerdist is who I work for, and DreamWorks have teamed up to give you guys a podcast called Form Podcast, which is the official Voltron commentary podcast. You can find that right now. It's live as we speak. The first episode features myself, Joaquin, and Lauren talking about the very first episode of Voltron, and we just do commentary, live or audio commentary of all the episodes.
They were super, super fun to do.
Yeah, you get to listen to me mistakenly refer to the fourth wall as the third wall, because apparently I thought all rooms were triangle shaped.
Yeah, well,
I would like to point out, no one corrected me during the entire commentary. My brain
we were nervous.
Yes, it's and then our mistakes are just on the internet.
And in fairness, we're in a triangular room at the time. So
that's true.
And also, you never heard Morrell.
Yeah, so Form Podcast, everybody. That's live now. You can subscribe right now.
Hi, this is Marc Morrell, host of Let's Voltron, the official Voltron podcast. We're here at San Diego Comic-Con 2018. I'm talking to Kyle Anderson, the associate editor for Nerdist, and he has a little bit of an announcement that he made at the Voltron panel, didn't you?
I sure did, yeah. We announced the Form Podcast, which is, I like to think, a companion to your podcast, which is the official Voltron commentary podcast, where we do audio commentaries of all the episodes with the cast and crew and showrunners and everybody.
Right. So people understand that everything that's going to be on your podcast has to do with specific episodes. So each podcast will be an episode of the series, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're doing the first one came out, so it was the whole pilot episode, which is about 70 minutes long. So and that one has Laura Montgomery and Joaquin Dos Santos on it. And yeah, every episode there's a different group of people talking specifically about the episode, and so people can follow, sync up the podcast with the Netflix video at home and enjoy as though it were a DVD commentary.
Right. Now that is what I wanted to get into, because we have already released DVDs for seasons 1 and 2, but it didn't have any extras on it.
Right. Yeah, that was something that DreamWorks and the people who made the show were really excited about, because the DVDs were so bare bones that they wanted to be able to talk about the show and kind of celebrate their own work on it. And you've met a lot of them. Nobody is more excited about working on a show than these people are. So it was really nice to get to hear them, because they're as big a fans of it as we are, I think. And so, to get to relive and actually talk about the making of some of these episodes, especially the season 1 and 2 episodes, which were years ago for them, kind of reliving those things. It was a lot of fun to listen to them, tell their stories about making the show.
Right. So can you give us a nugget from any one of those things that you've recorded already that people might be able to sink their teeth into to listen to your podcast?
One of the things that came up that I didn't know until we started recording is that in the sequences where Voltron, forms up, there are 3 different versions of that depending on how long or short the episode is running. And so you can always tell based on if the arm joints get pulled in a certain direction or so that's the longest one. And then it was just funny to me. And now I can never not see that. So anytime I watch an episode, I'm like, oh, that's the short one or that's the long one. And that was something that I thought was a lot of fun that we brought up as often as possible. And the other thing is that Joaquin and Lauren almost legitimately killed off Shiro, and the fan outrage was going to be too big, so then they brought him back. And it was early enough on that it wasn't like they didn't have to shift gears too much, but they saw how much and how excited people were for Shiro, so they were like, well, we can't kill him off. So that was something that I was like, as people who watched the original Voltron or Beast King Go Line, even how faithful to that are they going to be? And bringing him back was a cool thing. So that was a fun nugget. And especially from Joaquin and Lauren, because obviously it's their show, it's their baby. So they have a lot of those really great bits of information, and they're on a lot of episodes. So get ready to hear them a lot.
Okay, well, we love hearing them.
Yeah, yeah, they're really super great and very giving of their time. They're the busiest people in the world, but they were always excited to come in for 22 minutes and talk to us. So.
Right. So would normally the average length of one of your podcasts then be as long as one of the episodes?
Yeah, it's just a couple minutes set up at the beginning introducing people, and then basically at the end just a see you next time kind of thing. But for the most part, it's exactly the length of an episode. yeah, we do watch the opening credits just because it's the easiest way to sync everything up. Is to just hit play that way. So, you know, you can binge listen, but you kind of have to do a little bit of futzing with it. But yeah, so pretty much episode, you know, if you can get 22 minutes in, then you can listen to our episodes.
Okay, so how can people give feedback about your podcast?
You can, I believe there's a feedback set up on Nerdist.com, and then iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play, and we're on Spotify now. So anybody who is on any of those listening to it, enjoying it that way, they can leave a review, and that really helps us out. And actually, I'll tell you this much. We've only been out one day, and we're already climbing up the iTunes charts. So people are really seem to enjoying it, which is I'm very thankful for that, and leaving really nice feedback. So already fans are coming out and embracing it, which is really nice.
And are we just talking about the Rise of Voltron?
Yeah, the only one that's come out so far is the Rise of Voltron. It's there will probably be multiple episodes coming out per week. 2 or 3 maybe, but usually that'll be on Fridays, and then but yeah, we thought the first one, since it was an extra long episode, you know, wet people's whistle a little bit, and then can kind of dive in thereafter.
So would you be able to say that you're going to have all of the episodes in this commentary form by the time the series is done?
That's what we are hoping to do. We have not recorded all of them yet. We got a good chunk of them out of the way, which is nice, and then we were waiting to announce it. But I think that's the plan, is to do all 78 episodes of the show.
Okay. So going back to that forming Voltron thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had learned in Voltron Force, at the time that they did theirs, it was 36 seconds to form Voltron, and Daniel had pointed it out to the rest of the crew, and they had to do a faster way of forming Voltron, so it was called Flash Form Go. Now, in the new series, we timed it at one point, and it was 36 seconds. Do you think they did that on purpose?
I'm sure they did, and actually, I mean, because nobody's a bigger fan of Voltron than Joaquin and Lauren and just everybody who makes the show, so I bet that was something in their in the back of their minds. But it's also like it gives, because you know, it's the animation crew over in Korea, it gives them a breather. So it's like, this has already been made, so we have at least 36 seconds where we they don't have to do it, which is, you know, for a big action show like this, it's nice for them to have a breather. So I think that's funny that I didn't know it was exactly 36 seconds. That makes me laugh, because that seems like the exact nerdy thing that they would do, and so I'm not surprised that they did that.
Yeah, I mean, the fans ask all the time, did they do this on purpose? Was it part of the plan? You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah. They have every little thing completely. And actually, one of the episodes we did, I think it was the finale of season 4, was with all the ladies who do post-production, I guess continuity, and they have just like folders and folders on their computers of all of the little different versions of the characters and of all of the tech and everything like that. And they were pointing out, that's a fun episode. I mean, that's going to take a little while before it comes out, but that's a fun episode to listen to, where they're like, that's a new asset, and they just kept pointing it out. And I was just like asking them all the questions. Usually I'm just like letting them talk, but I was just like, no, what is that? Now, is this a different thing? Yeah. So every time that the helmet's on, that's a different character model, and the mask is like halfway up, that's a different character model. Like, it's so complicated, and they keep track of all of it, which I thought was really, really fascinating, that was their job, and they love doing it. And
one of the great things about this whole series is the amount of characters is just unbelievable. I mean, we talked to Christy Zhang, and you know, she's in the, you know, character design, and just the amount, she couldn't keep track of all the characters she's designed for the show.
Yeah, it's a much bigger scope, I think, than the original Voltron 2, which is really nice, but in that there's so many different worlds and different, you know, alien varieties and different characters. Yeah, so it really started to the world opened up, I think, in like season 2 and 3. It really started to feel like, oh, it's a whole universe. It's not just our heroes and the bad guys, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, we get into that, and you know, we talk a lot about the different members of the Alliance that come together in the show, and you know, you can also tell in the we haven't recorded the episode yet, but the Monsters and Mana episode, in the background are all of the writers and directors of the show, or members, or people in the bar, which if you know them, then you know it, but that's a fun little Easter egg too. But those are all, again, different characters that had to be designed, and they designed each other, which I thought was really adorable.
Yeah, they actually did a separate video that they released that shows each and every one of those characters and the real person behind it.
Those are fun Easter eggs too, if you're Rabbit fans, which I'm sure everybody watching this are. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Okay, so going forward, then they can still listen to Foreign Podcast on anywhere podcasts are, and they can sync it up to the shows and enjoy all this wonderful commentary that they're getting from the real people who built the show.
That's right. Yeah, everybody. I mean, we got dozens of people from the show to come in. Composers, voice actors. We got Andrea Romano to come in out of retirement. We were just talking off camera. Several of the voice actors who were in town. Joaquin and Lauren, most of the writers, just like literally everybody. And it was kind of a joy for me because I wouldn't know. And it was just like Kristen Chang, who was our producer on this, who works for DreamWorks, she would just be like, all right, this episode's going to have these people on it. And I'd be like, yay. So, so it was always a joy coming in, doing recording sessions, seeing who's going to come in and everything. And Chrissy Sang was on several episodes. Christine Bion, who I think you've talked to before, she's a delight. And everybody on the show is just so happy to be on the show, which is, it's always fun for me to listen to people who are passionate about the thing they work on. So, yeah.
So you've been pretty close to all these people. Do you think after these 78 episodes are done, do you think there's another type of Voltron thing coming after that?
No.
Just in your mind.
And you know what? I have some friends who are hardcore hoping that Vehicle Force is following, and I have no. I've tried multiple times to be like, what do you guys think of Vehicle Force? Nobody's saying anything, so I don't know one way or the other. But you got to do Vehicle Force at some point, right? Like you'd think they're going back to Earth. There's got to be some kind of Vehicle Force on the way, but this is just complete speculation. I have no idea. Okay.
That would really make my co-host Greg happy.
Yeah, and that would make my friend Chip happy too, because he's been since Legendary Defender came out, he's like, are they going to do a vehicle? It's like it's episode 1, man. Like I don't think they're going to already do Vehicle Force, but yeah, let's hope. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a completely enjoyable thing to do. But I think that'd maybe be like a revival series or something like that. I don't think it's, but they might reference it in this season or in this series. Again, complete speculation on my part. But if they're going back to Earth, I feel like you got to at least tip your hat to it a little bit.
And is there ever the chance that if they ever do a Blu-ray set for the whole series, that your audio commentaries could be put on that, ported right into it?
I think that would be wonderful, obviously, because they're already all done, and then we could just cut out the the beginning and the introduction before the syncing begins, and you sync it automatically. So we wouldn't need that, and then they'd all be done already. So I would love that to happen. Actually, that would be I'm a huge DVD and Blu-ray commentary nut. I will sometimes buy discs just for the commentary, even if it's a movie I don't really like, if I like the person doing the commentary. So that would be amazing for me. So, but that's up to, I think physical media is on the way up, but that's what's so great about doing the podcast is that you get that ability without having to rely on a company making a Blu-ray or a DVD and putting it out.
And the podcasts are free.
Which is, I think, one of the best things about podcasts is that you can listen at your leisure and don't have to put out any more money. Yeah.
One of the cool things that we used to like, Robot Chicken on their DVDs and Blu-rays used to have a thing called Chicken Nuggets. And it had a little white emblem of that robot chicken in the top right whenever there was something that had commentary on the episodes. So all you had to do was click on that white robot chicken and you'd get all these juicy nuggets about what was going on behind the scenes.
I love that stuff. You remember pop-up video on VH1? I used to love that, and you wouldn't, you wouldn't interrupt the music that was playing, but you'd get to all this, and it was always funny too. So I just love that kind of like commentary over things, even if you just have to read it. I think that, yeah, I haven't done the Robot Chicken one, but I love just that aspect of like here's something you might be interested in. I love that. Right.
So this is exciting. I'm really excited for everybody to get to see, everything that comes out of your podcast, and the audio commentary coming from every episode that you can sync up right with the episode. I'm going to get started on doing that right away.
Well, I hope so. I hope everyone else does too. I'm thrilled that it's out. I'm thrilled that I got to announce it at the panel, which A lot of great stuff came out of that panel. You got, this next season looks really great. So I'm really stoked for the show, and I'm also really stoked that people can, in the month or so, a little less than a month now until the next season drops, people can enjoy the podcast too. So go back and watch the earlier episodes and kind of get an inside scoop. So I'm very pleased to be part of it in any form.
Of course, the information that comes out of your podcast, we can talk about on our podcast, right?
That's true. All of it is fair game for anybody to write up or to put on a podcast. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. And we appreciate you joining us here at San Diego Comic-Con because we know you're busy, right?
Yeah, I'm here working doggedly, although it's fun. It's it's enjoyable. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy to join you. I'm glad we could make this work, and thanks for getting the word out about the podcast.
Yeah, what are you working on right now at Nerdist?
I'm the associate editor, so I do a lot of copy editing. I'm a film critic as well, so I go to screenings and write reviews, which is nice, a lot of fun for me. And this weekend has been a lot of trailer writing up and trailer dissection, and we've got our Nerdist News crew is doing a lot of video dissections of all, the Godzilla trailer, which just came out, and Aquaman, I think they're going to shoot right now. So a lot of great stuff coming out of that. And we're doing live programming, at a space nearby. So a lot of stuff. I'm going to be tired on Monday. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us here at San Diego. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks so much for having me.